With Easy Team Builder 5, there's a new option that lets you create custom row layouts that you can import into the software. And then there's a drop-down where you can select those layouts. And so right here we've got multi-row defaults and single row defaults. And those define how many images are in each row. Now a single row, obviously everything's going to be in one row, and with multi-row there's going to be default values for, depending on if you're at 12 images, 13 or 14 or whatever, it's going to assign a certain number per row. Now you can create your own and import those. These are hard-coded in the system, so by default there's no user custom layouts installed. So for example, if we go to batch process here, or not batch process, if we go to build team here, it's going to bring up the menu where you can change the numbers per row. But say you don't want to have to do that every time, or let's say you're batching and you can't, because it's not going to stop for you to change these every time, because you might have one team with 13, one team with 18. So it's not going to stop every time for you to enter that. So if you have a data sheet and you load it, then it will use your own custom values. Now when you're in here for a single team, you could select whatever's in this drop down. You can see this changes it to a single row here or multi-row, and these are the hard-coded ones, and I'm going to show you how to create your own custom sheet to import. So let me cancel out of here. If we go back to the home menu, in this top section you'll select manage layouts, and there's a few options that you can do, and all of your custom layouts will be in this drop down, which is empty right now because I don't have any imported. The single and multi-row defaults will not show up here because, like I say, those are hard-coded. You can't delete those. Those are just in the system. So the first thing we're going to do is create our own. So to do that, you'll select this button that says Export Layer Starter Files. So if I just click that, I'll click on the desktop, and it's just going to save a folder with your starter files in here. If I go back to the desktop here, we'll see this folder called Easy Team Builder Layout Templates. And in that folder, there's two files. There's a multi-row and a single row template. If I click on the multi-row template, I'm just going to open this one. Now this is a copy of the multi-row default values. And in the first column, we got the number of athletes, and then we've got rows 1 through 12 for how many go in each row. You see it starts with 3 for athlete count. That's because you cannot build a team with only 1 or 2 images. It needs at least 3 images to build a team. And this sheet goes up to 300. You can add more if you have a team of 526 players. You can put the number 526 here, and then put all of the numbers that add up to 526 here to give the number per row. You don't have to have any certain number. You can upload a sheet with just 1 row. However, if you've only uploaded a sheet with 1 row, it's only going to fill out that value when you click Build Team. If it's anything but that one you filled out, you'll just see zeros in there. And if you're batching and you use your sheet, if it can't find a number to match the number of players in the team, it won't build that particular team. So just as FYI. So I'm just going to change 1 row here. Let's say, for example, this row with 15 athletes, we wanted this to be 8 and 7. Just change that to 8, 7, and then 0. And these numbers for rows 1 through 12 must add up to the athlete count. If they do not, this data sheet will not import. Even if only one of those is wrong, it won't import. Also, you have to have the zeros filled in here. You can't leave these blank. One thing you can do is you can put a function in here, and you could do a sum. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to do a sum starting with row or column 2, because we don't want to add the total athlete count. So we can sum of B2 to M2. Okay, and then you could fill down all the way. And so, oops, didn't mean to do that. So this is just your way of checking, and as soon as you change a number, you can see that this value will change. So that's a way of double checking your work or finding a mistake if you filled out a bunch of them. Also, another slick trick that you can do, you can put a formula in here. So let's say equals, this cell equals, and another equals here. And fill that down. This is kind of not really advanced, but this is getting into a little bit of Excel knowledge here, or in my case, OpenOffice. So let's say one doesn't match, you don't have them matching, they don't add up, and then you get a false in this column. So this is something that's purely optional for you to do, but I find this is helpful if you're filling a data sheet out, just to be able to check your work. Now, you can save the CSV just like this, and it will still import because it's only going to import the first 13 columns. It's going to import the first one, and then it's going to import rows 1 through 12, and it's going to drop anything else off. Oh, I'll point out too, you can't delete columns. Like you say, you know that you're not going to have 12 rows. You might only build a sheet up to 6 rows. You can't delete columns 7 through 12. It has to have spaces filled in with numbers for all 12 rows. So in any case, let's delete both of these out of here actually. Make sure if you're using the templates and uploading those, if you don't want those default ones to, oh, I can't do, this one's open so I can't. Let's call it something else. Just call it My Layouts. CSV. You click Edit Filter Settings here. I'm going to just make sure you're using Unicode UTF-8 for any CSV documents. And I'll just do the comma delimiter. That's fine. Okay, so here's my folder I'm going to import. Now, when you import a sheet, you're importing a whole folder, not a single file. So it's going to import all files within that folder. So that default template, I'm just going to delete that. That's the one, because I renamed it. I could have saved it and then renamed it. It doesn't really matter, I guess, either way. All right, so when we go back to our layouts here, I'm going to select Import Layouts. And this is telling us if there's any layouts with the same name as our files, it's going to overwrite those. With the exception of the defaults, it will never let you overwrite the defaults. It'll just make a redundant one if that's the case. All right, so I'm going to select the folder here that had our layouts. So now in this drop-down menu, we see the My Layouts, and that's the only thing we see. But when we go to run, you'll see the 2 default ones as well. Now, if you ever want to delete a layout, you can delete layouts one at a time. So if you select the layout you want, and then delete selected layout, now our layout's gone. If there was more than one, it would have deleted just that one. So let me re-import that. All right, so now our layouts back in there. You could also delete all layouts if you wanted to delete everything. That would get rid of everything except for the hard-coded defaults. Then if you want to export your layouts, if you hit Export Layouts, that's going to export all of your custom layouts in here so you can edit those or save those. So if you want a backup copy of all your layouts. All right, so from here, I'm just going to go back to my Build Teams UI. Now we can select our layouts here. And then when we hit build team, you'll see that's popped up 8 and 7. You can also come in here and select your layouts as well. It doesn't matter either way. Just going to hit continue. All right, now you can see we've got 8 and 7, just like we set up in the software. So pretty slick. Don't know if there's much more to talk about. Oh yeah, there is actually. When you batch, just make sure that you set what you wanted to right here. So I think I already showed this in the other video, but you'd select your custom layout here before you start the batch. And then when you hit start batch, which is not going to let me do here because I don't have my folders and stuff selected, but if you when you hit start batch, it's going to show that layout on your settings check. So just make sure you've got the right layout before starting your batch, or else your batch will be done and you'll have to redo the batch if you didn't select it before you started. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this is a helpful feature for you.